Welcome back everybody to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin, and today's act is Act 65, Each to His Own Path. There's this little circular ring included in this chapter, and I don't know what it is. I guess it kind of looked like a donut, and I really enjoyed this little inclusion, or this little blurb in the chapter that says, like, oh, by the way, these things, they used to be circular back in the day, just so you know. It's this other thing that you know it as, but it looks different because that's how it was back then. And I think that that's so cool, that a little bit of attention to detail. Now, I'm not quite sure what this food item is that Misao is eating, but I don't know. Just the fact that it's included in that little blurb in there was pretty cool. But with all of that, let's get into the chapter summary review, and we'll actually talk about this chapter because it's a pretty cool chapter. Kenshin and Misao continue their journey to Kyoto. Meanwhile, Sanosuke is attempting to train by deforesting a path to Kyoto. Megumi is too preoccupied being worried about everyone to actually work with her patients in Tokyo. And Yahiko learns that he gets really sick on boats. Kaoru says that she feels sick too, but she won't complain now that she's on her way to see Kenshin. Returning to the two traveling on foot, Misao teases Kenshin about lunch, and just when she was about to share with Kenshin, the two find a fatally wounded man asking Kenshin to save his brother and his village from Shishio. I really enjoyed this chapter because on its surface, it kind of just seems like a little bit of a lull. Like some of the dramatic moments that were, I guess dealing with, as far as the whole Aoshi Shinomori stuff, is kind of over and done with. And just when we have like maybe a little bit of room to breathe, and that's when we actually get to find out where the characters are as far as their journey goes, we're kind of like immediately hit back with Shishio. We're reminded, like, we're on this journey because of this wicked man. And so I guess to start off this chapter, we're gonna jump all the way to the end and talk a little bit about the man that we found in the forest. And I always kind of find it a little bit odd that this man this village exists, or that this man knows about Shishio. And I mean, all of that information is eventually revealed, but at least on the surface and initially, in the way that this chapter is presented, somebody is asking Kenshin to stop Shishio without having any idea who Kenshin is. You know, he's just throwing out the name Shishio. I always found it a little bit odd, just because Shishio is known to be somebody that works from the shadows, somebody who does not really want his name to be known to everybody, or to the majority of people. And I guess that the reason that this guy may know his name is because he's on his way out. And I think that that's pretty cool. But all this little storyline that we're about to get into just seems very necessary as far as the arc itself. But as I said, that, you know, all the little drama with Aoshi is kind of done. It's kind of hit the pause button. Like, things are kind of progressing smoothly now that it's kind of fizzled. And we need a bit of a reminder that Shishio is very much a real threat. Not just something that the government is afraid of, but something that everyone is in danger of if this guy gets his way. And this village and this man and his brother are basically the face, or the poster child of what would be like if Shishio got his way. And that's what we're about to explore in these upcoming chapters. That the threat is not just in Kyoto, but there are already places around outside of Kyoto that are being affected by Shishio. So yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about everyone, because I loved that everyone is included here. We don't really get to spend a whole lot of time with the characters, but you know, everybody is on their own path, just as the chapter title suggests. And it it's just like within just a couple of panels, or just a couple of pages, we really get to spend a little bit more time with our characters, despite them all being on different roads, and all of them kind of being in ways that we know them to be. These are our friends. These are our family members who, like, even when they're not with us, we know exactly how they would react. And I'm like, yep, that's Sanosuke. Yep, that's Kaoru. Yep, that's Yahiko. And that's Megumi. So let's go ahead and start off with Yahiko. I found it absolutely hilarious, I guess, but like just so Yahiko that he's sick on boats, and I don't think that he never knew that he would be sick on boats, because I don't think he's ever actually been on a boat. Knowing what we know about him and his past, he's probably only ever spent all of his time up until now in Tokyo, being, you know, the lapdog for the small town yakuza or whatever. But now that he's growing up, he's getting to travel the world, and he's on a boat, and he doesn't know how to handle it. It's so good. And moving on to Sanosuke, I think that with Sanosuke, we get a little bit of this also, because Sanosuke is just tearing down trees because he doesn't know how to train. He spent all of his life just fighting people, and he became strong by fighting others when they would try fighting him back. He would learn how to maneuver and stuff. But when he's training by himself, he doesn't really know how to go about it. So he's just destroying trees, thinking that, oh, if I could tear down a tree, maybe it'll make me stronger. But then he realizes that that's stupid. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see Sanosuke eventually try and figure out how to train, knowing that he doesn't know how to even take step one. And that's really cool. And now I'm gonna go into Megumi. Let's go with Megumi. Okay, so I thought it was really good of Megumi to be included here, because Megumi, well, she's kind of a late addition to the story, and she kind of usually is off on the side. It's usually Kenshin, Kaoru, Yahiko, and Sanosuke are kind of like the core four. Megumi, I think right here in this chapter, it really solidifies her as being part of the Kenshin Gumi now, as being part of the family, because while we're all kind of wondering what all the other characters are doing, I always have wondered what Megumi is doing in Tokyo. Like, we are told that she's attending to her patients and she can't really leave her job, and here we are seeing her attempting to do her job, but still having it in the back of her head what all of the other characters are doing. And I think that it's absolutely necessary to have her included here, because Megumi is definitely part of the Kenshin Gumi. And if there was any little bit of like, she's more so a side character, kind of a little bit higher than Tai, but lesser than Kaoru, then no, absolutely not. She is definitely part of the family, and this chapter is proof enough. And now to finish up with Kaoru, let's talk about Kaoru. Alright, Kaoru is on the boat with Yahiko. Yahiko's sick, yada yada, blah blah blah. We already discussed that. But she admits that she feels a little bit sick too, but she's not gonna complain anymore. And she says that, like, yeah, I feel sick, but I don't wanna make it into an issue. So she's kind of just holding herself together. And I could see her thought process of like, okay, if I let this little boat get to me, then I don't know what is waiting for me in Kyoto. I don't know what it is that Kenshin was trying to shield me from, but if I can't handle this boat, I'm not going to be able to handle it over there. So she's kind of remaining strong. And I love that, because Kaoru is just, you can tell that this is a new Kaoru. Similarly, in the way that you would see a shonen and a protagonist coming or showing up differently. The way that when Goku was traveling to Namek and he gets off the spaceship, like, with this new confidence, and the same way that he shows up, to fight Nappa, and he has like this confidence that nobody expects it. Like, you could see that with Kaoru, and it just like, no, not just the main guy can be different. Like, our heroine, Kaoru, can be different too, and stronger. She's not the person that she was just a couple chapters ago. She has this new resolve, this new determination, and it shows. It showed in this little bit of panels that we got with her in this chapter, and I just love it. It's one of my favorite things in this chapter. Actually, really, it was just getting time to see all of them. And let's go ahead and finish off by talking about Misao and Kenshin. Kind of going full circle. We started the chapter with Misao and Kenshin. Now let's finish it with Misao and Kenshin. Misao and Kenshin. I think that now that Kenshin has fully accepted Misao as being his traveling companion, you can kind of see that things are a little bit different. One of the ways that we see this is in the way that he's kind of carving out a path for her to kind of make it easier for her to walk. And I think that this is an absolute Kenshin move. I think that he would absolutely do this for anybody if it means that he's helping them get by just a little bit easier. It's so funny how like he's doing this all throughout the chapter and we don't really know what's going on. Similarly, the way that Misao is just kind of talking and not really paying attention to what Kenshin's doing. I think that when I was reading it, I wasn't really paying attention to what Kenshin was doing either. And then it's at the end where like, hey, what are you doing? And then we find out like, oh, he's making it easier for Misao to walk through. I think that that's just his way of showing her that like, yeah, you're my traveling companion now. We're in this together. And this was a really good way of kind of showing Misao that Kenshin has accepted her. And kind of creating a way for Misao to trust Kenshin a little bit more and to kind of, I guess, start to admire him a little bit more. Because now she's making connections to Kenshin with Aoshi. They're like, oh, he's really cool, just like Aoshi. And so it's kind of forging a bond between these two characters. One that Kenshin very clearly did not want, and but now that he's accepted her, we're seeing a different side into how he's handling Misao, and I think that that's really cool. But that is chapter 65. That was Act 65 of Rurouni Kenshin. If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel, leave a thumbs up, and comment down below something that you enjoyed about this chapter. What did you guys think of seeing everybody again and kind of having a little bit of a vignette into where they are on their journey and kind of going back to Megumi and seeing where she's at now that she's gone back to work? Let me know in the comments section down below and I'll talk to you guys there. Bye, ciao.